أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. We seek protection from Allah and begin in the name of Allah, most gracious, most compassionate. ربي شرح لي صدري ويسر أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. This is the dua that our Prophet Musa alayhi salam used to recite. And he had a lisp and a stutter. He had a stutter, and he found it very, very difficult to talk. And he used to recite this dua so that it would help him. Allah would help him when he was speaking in front of Pharaoh, because he was so frightened to speak in front of Pharaoh and confront him. So it's a very useful dua to remember. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, children. May Allah bless you and have mercy on you. You're listening to Radio Ramadan special broadcast on EAVA 102.5 FM with myself, Sister Amreen and Sister Fatima. Assalamu alaikum, Sister Amreen, Sister Fatima.
Wa alaikum assalam.
Welcome to the Children's Hour.
Alhamdulillah.
So good to have you here. So we've got plenty in store for the children today,
Yes,
haven't we? We have a competition which Sister Amreen will tell us about a little bit later. We're going to be asking you some questions about how it's going on at school and Ramadan and everything. We're going to be looking at the 99 names of Allah. We have some lovely little stories for you, and also an interesting fact. I wonder if you have any of your own. So let's get started.
So, get in touch with us at the studio. Sister Fatima, do you want to tell us how our listeners can get in touch?
Yes, sure. Oh, we got a call.
We have a call already. There you go.
Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum.
Is there anybody there?
I think this.
Think they're shy?
I think they're having struggle technically.
You know, my daughter, when she didn't want to be seen, she used to hide, and she used to think we couldn't see her when she was hiding, when she was hiding her eyes.
I think it's more of a technical issue than the child on the phone. I think. But
Yeah.
anyways, we'll just read out the numbers. The number to contact is 0116 212 9324. So that's 212 9324. And you can text us on 074 509 25084. You can also connect with us on Facebook Live. So call in. We're waiting for your call as usual. And yes, I think the call is coming through.
Assalamu alaikum. Is there somebody there? No, we can't find you. Hello.
I think they're just having technical issues on that side.
Yeah. Okay. We've just been joined by two people, I think, Sister Amreen.
Yes, we've got Vlogs and Bants, Jazakallah Khair, our regular listener, and then we've got Mohammed Sadiq Hassan as well. So yeah, inshallah, Jazakallah Khair for joining us on the Facebook Live. Give us your feedbacks and your comments, and mainly get your children involved, because this is what it's all about. It's all about the kids, inshallah. Excuse me.
Okay, so the five...
Calls has come through. Assalamu alaikum.
Yes, there's somebody there.
Assalamu alaikum.
Welcome, Salam.
Who do we have here?
Ramesa.
Assalamu alaikum, Ramesa. How are you doing today, dear?
Huh?
How are you doing?
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah, that's good to know. So, what would you like to recite today for us?
I took Kursi.
Ayatul Kursi, mashallah, that's beautiful.
Mashallah.
You can start reading when you're ready.
I took Kursi Allahu la ilaha illa huwa al-hayyul qayyum la ta'khudhuhu sinatun wa la nawm lahu ma fis samawati wa ma fil ard man alladhi yashfa'u indahu illa bi'idhnihi ya'lamu ma bayna aydihim wa ma khalfahum wa la yuhituna bi shay'in min ilmihi إلا بما شاء وسع كرسيه السماوات والأرض ولا يؤوده حفظهما وهو العلي العظيم آمين.
Ameen.
Ameen.
Mashallah, that was beautiful, Ramesa. How is the day going today? Have you been to school today?
Yeah.
Have you had a good day at school?
Yeah.
Alhamdulillah. So what's the plan for the rest of the day?
Huh?
What's the plan for the rest of the day?
I'm taking my mommy to the dentist.
Oh. Dentist. Are you going to be holding Mummy's hand at the dentist?
Yeah.
Dentist is not a very nice place to go, is it?
No.
Okay, you make sure you hold Mummy's hand and look after her, okay?
That's so sweet.
You're very sweet.
Yeah.
Take Mummy to the dentist.
Bless you, may Allah bless you.
Okay.
Okay, and may Allah make it easy for Mummy on that dentist chair as well.
If you ask Mummy to recite Ayatul Kursi while she's in the dentist, she won't even know the dentist is there.
Inshallah.
Inshallah.
Okay, Rumaysa, you take care and have a lovely day.
Okay.
Jazakallah khair.
Thank you for calling. Assalamu alaikum.
Such a beautiful ayah to learn, isn't
I'm going to
it?
do Islam.
Sorry, you want to give salam? I'm sorry, we never asked you that. Yes, who would you like to give salam to?
To my family. To my friends Sarah and Aisha.
Assalamu alaikum.
And my Appa and Umar.
Ameen.
Ameen.
Jazakallah for your salams to everybody.
Barakallah.
Alright, you take care, Rumaysa.
Okay.
Call in again tomorrow. We'll be waiting.
Okay.
Assalamu alaikum. Inshallah.
Oh, mashallah. A regular caller,
We
mashallah.
needed that, didn't we?
Yeah,
Ayatul
we
Kursi.
needed that.
We were just talking about protection.
We should be reciting Ayatul Kursi all the time,
all the
shouldn't
time.
we?
Yes.
Absolutely. We
Definitely.
should tell the children how powerful Ayatul Kursi actually is.
Yeah,
Alhamdulillah.
so important.
Inshallah, later on, maybe today, if we remember, we'll mention how the strength of Ayatul Kursi.
Well, we could talk about it now for a little bit, actually.
Yeah, go on.
Yeah.
Inshallah.
So it's an ayah that we read when we're leaving our home. When we after a salah, we can read it. After every fard salah, and it's just so full of protection for us, and we're told so many times in different hadith and so on the value of it.
Especially like you say, when you're leaving the home, you know, when you're walking anywhere, when you're about to start something. Of course, we have our other adhkar, but the power of Ayatul Kursi is something unsurmountable, and I think we don't realize the effect it can have, and the effect it has when you don't recite it regularly.
Yes,
It's
that's
really
true.
profound. So we need to remind ourselves that we all need protection, and to do our daily adhkar is really, really important. You know, like it's almost like it's the things you need to breathe, basically.
It is. That's so true.
Continuous. It's like you're doing your regular dhikr.
Yeah,
If you
and
don't have that,
Like you say,
can't.
you don't notice it until you stop it,
Yes.
and then you feel the difference. It makes you
Yes.
feel more vulnerable.
Yes.
Yeah, I read somewhere once that if you read it twice, Allah prescribes 2 groups of angels to protect us.
Yeah.
And if you read it 3 times, He tells the angels to move away because He Himself protects us.
Subhanallah.
Oh, subhanallah,
I
that's
read that
beautiful.
once.
Subhanallah.
Yeah, so,
Mashallah.
so children, when you go to
Jazakallah
sleep at night, sometimes they're scared, you know,
Yeah.
nightmares and all sorts of different things. And sometimes we're scared to do certain things in our life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you at least ask someone to help you recite it if you don't know it by heart, or try practicing to learn that by heart,
Yeah.
inshallah, and then you can use that as a little tool to protect yourself when you, before you go to sleep.
Have
or-
it written by your bedside so that you
or
can
written,
read it through.
and you never forget to, so that you never
Yeah,
forget to read
so
it.
it's just
inshallah,
there.
for protection.
Yeah.
And imagine if Allah's protecting Himself, who have you got to be scared of?
Subhanallah.
Subhanallah.
That's
It's good
to
really
be scared
powerful,
of.
isn't it? Mashallah.
Absolutely.
Subhanallah. That's a beautiful reminder. Jazakallah khair for that. Okay, so I want to ask, before we get into the 99 names and the stories, a question to the children. So, how's your first week of Ramadan been? Because some of we started on Monday or Tuesday, whichever day it was, it doesn't matter. So, it's almost like a week, well, 5 days nearly. So, how's your week been? And how have you found it, like within school and everything else as well? So, what kind of, how have you been explaining it to your non-Muslim friends? What the benefits of fasting are? How you found it different in the home? So with your parents, with your aunties, uncles, your friends, how have you found the difference in this blessed month? Tell us your stories of how you found it yourself, your own kind of journey, and the physical things that you normally wouldn't do and you're doing as well, inshallah.
Yeah. Has it felt any different this week?
Yes.
That's what we really want to
Yeah,
know.
we wanna
and
hear.
are your teachers talking about Ramadan?
Yes.
Yeah. But we must stress also that, for young children, it's dangerous to fast long
Yes.
hours and be at school. So we're not encouraging that.
There's many ways to fast. When you're young, you don't have to, it's not about fasting and keeping away from food. It's about maybe being polite to your teachers, your friends, being extra kind to people around you, especially your parents and your siblings. So yeah, there's so many ways that Allah can accept
Different
Yes.
things that we
different
can
things
do in
from us in this
Ramadan.
month, and everything you do in this month is multiplied
Subhanallah.
with rewards. So just don't worry, it's not only about fasting and not eating. There's many ways you can earn lots and lots of rewards
Yeah.
this month.
Absolutely.
Alhamdulillah.
Absolutely.
Alhamdulillah.
Right, so this week so far, we have been covering some of the names of Allah. And the names of Allah, as we mentioned, are adjectives, and the adjectives that describe the attributes of Allah. So the names that we've covered this week so far are the name of Allah Himself, Ar-Rahman, Ar-Rahim, Al-Malik. Al-Malik we did yesterday.
Yes.
The King. And we had a question yesterday about Al-Malik, didn't we?
Yes.
So where in Surah Al-Fatiha do we hear about Al-Malik? We didn't
So
get a
if I-
call
yeah,
about
we
that,
didn't
did
get
we?
a call about that yesterday.
So
So
shall we
let's
go
see.
through that a little
Yes,
bit?
we can do. That'll be
Or
great.
should we open that again today?
Let's try it again today. See who we get in
Yeah.
today, inshallah.
Yeah, I think we should get lots of calls about that one. It's not too difficult. And then today we're going to look at the name Al-Quddus. Al-Quddus means the holy. Far removed from all the imperfections of the world, Allah is holy and pure and fills us with awe. You cannot add anything to the holy nor muddy the holy. Al-Quddus is spotless, whole and perfect. And this is a name describing Allah, is whole and spotless and perfect. The signs of Al-Quddus: have you ever woken up, opened the curtains and found everything covered in snow? The ground, the trees, the houses, everything. There are no footprints and it's so perfect it takes your breath away. Perhaps this can give us an idea of Al-Quddus. Or have you ever wondered at how clean and pure water can be, especially if it's from a stream high in the mountains? Okay. So now in the Holy Quran, there is an ayah that says, God is He other than whom there is no God, and sovereign, the holy, the source of peace. That's in Surah Hashr. Rumi says, Rumi is a most beautiful poet and spiritual person. Water says to the dirty, come here. The dirty one says, I am so ashamed. Water says, how will your shame be washed away without me? So it's all about cleansing and purity and being perfect. There is the holy and the holy and the whole. The words holy and whole are spelt differently, but they make the same sound. Holy, whole and holy, holy and holy. And it comes from a German word. Okay, right, so that's Al-Quddus, meaning the spotless, the whole, and the perfect.
MashaAllah.
Any reflections on that, my sisters? Auntie Irene and Auntie Fatima?
Sorry, I'm having a coughing fit here. I apologize. I'm not sure. There's so much that we can think about. But it is about the reflecting of the names, and that's what I'm saying is, when we look at the names of Allah, they mean different things to everybody. So we're trying to learn what's the behind meaning of that as well. But we really need to sit down and actually understand them as well. Which I was going to say brings me on to, we need to see, because we had Sarah who did 22 names the other day, on the first day actually. MashaAllah. So today I want to see who can do 40, because we had a deal. Sarah, I know you're listening. We had a deal that you're going to try and do 40. That you're going to try and do 40 today, and then by the last Friday or Thursday, we're going to try and do a flash mob of all the names and try and get as many of the children into the studio and see how many children we can get into the studio as well. And just on that as well, I just need to read the disclaimer that obviously our views are expressed are our own and our guests as well. But in regards to children, we cannot allow children into the studio until a disclaimer has been signed by their parents. And that's purely for regulation, obviously Ofcom regulation. That's the reason why. We will be saying that in each show, so parents are aware. So it's not a matter of where parents you can come and just drop your children off at the studio, which was happening last year. But obviously, you know, we're with EVA FM, so we need to do what's best and have due diligence in regards to that as well. So I just need to remind parents of that, and any guardians too. It's the same when your children are calling. The parent will need to be on the phone first to give confirmation that it's okay for their child to be on radio, because everything is recorded. As you know, it's on Facebook Live as well. So, you know, we need to protect ourselves, but also your children as well, inshallah. So please work with us, inshallah. It's all for what's best for everyone involved, inshallah.
Jazakallah khair.
Sister Salma, mentioning that you're saying about purity and cleansing, also Al-Quddus, Allah can cure all spiritual sickness on a person who recites this abundantly and daily.
MashaAllah.
So that goes well with what you're saying in the sense that it's a form of cleanser, isn't it? Al-Quddus, it cleanses. So all our spiritual sicknesses, if we try and recite that daily, inshallah, all our spiritual sicknesses, Allah will clear those for us.
That's really beautiful to know. I've also seen a post this week about how the 99 names can be used to heal different sicknesses in the body.
Absolutely.
And that's
so
interesting
many
as well,
so
isn't
many.
it?
It's amazing.
So many.
Subhanallah.
Just a shout out on Facebook, we've got Shoti Sheikh, Assalamu alaikum, Yasin.
It's one of our co-hosts who was on just before us, Maulana Patel.
Sorry, I don't actually know. Shameen Suleiman, Assalamu alaikum.
Another of our co-hosts.
And Shameen, actually, while you're listening on Facebook, I'd just like to say thank you, because I believe you're the one who suggested the name Our Voice for the 5 till 6 show. So while you're on here, I want to say thank you to you. Jazakallah for a great idea. And
Alhamdulillah.
It's gone. Assalamu alaikum to Nur Aslam and Asma Akbani. And Nur Aslam is saying, Salam sisters, Juma Mubarak.
Amen.
Juma Mubarak to you as well, sister.
Khair
Nur and
Mubarak.
everybody else that's listening.
MashaAllah. Thank you to our regular listeners who take time out, and even to all those newbies out there. Jazakallah khair. Please share your posts and put it on your WhatsApp statuses, etc. Please share the word of why we're all here on this community radio show, inshallah. Keep us in your du'as also.
Yeah, and it's good for us to know what's going well, what you enjoy, and what you want more of.
Yes.
Inshallah.
Absolutely.
Right, I'm going to move on to the second name now, As-Salam. And I share a little bit of this as well. My name is Salma, and it comes from the root of the word is peace. So the name As-Salam means peace, the peace that belongs for and comes from Allah. Peace is so important in our lives.
Absolutely.
Allah is peace itself,
SubhanAllah.
a gentle but invincible power that ends war, dissolves tension, and fills our hearts with ease. As-Salam. As-Salam. If you have ever woken up to pray the dawn prayer when everything is still dark and busy, day has not yet begun, you will know it is very peaceful. Some light might be creeping in over the horizon, and birds might be gently singing, but this only adds to the peace we feel in our hearts at this time is a good sign of As-Salam. The world can sometimes seem full of war, but we should remember that it's also full of peace. We are God's instruments, and one of the tasks that God has given us here on earth is to be peacemakers. Nothing pleases Allah more than those who spread peace on earth.
SubhanAllah.
Isn't that amazing? Do you know,
Absolutely amazing.
I think we know our good friends. We know good people. We know good people because they are people who try to bring those together who are having arguments or difficulties or whatever. You know, and it's such a good quality to have, and it's so important for us to be able to forgive everybody in Ramadan and be able, and sometimes you need help to do that.
Yes.
So be the peacemaker, always be the peacemaker, always try and bring people together rather than cause arguments between them.
Yes.
Okay. So Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, "O our sustainer, you are peace, and from you comes all peace, and our ultimate return is to you and peace." The words Assalamu alaikum and Shalom Aleichem are very similar. Which two religions say these words, and what do they mean? So, Assalamu alaikum, we know, means peace be upon you. And Shalom Aleichem,
I don't actually know.
that's from
It's a Jewish
Jewish.
Hebrew.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
it's from
Hebrew.
Hebrew.
Okay.
Because it all comes from Aramaic, which is the
Subhanallah.
root of Arabic and Hebrew and many of our languages today. So that's a nice, interesting fact for me today.
MashaAllah.
So, can I ask you, Sister Amreen,
Yes.
about interesting facts?
Yes.
Have you got an interesting fact for us today?
Okay, let's have
Or should we
one.
come back to that in a moment?
No, we're going to read one interesting fact. What I want the children to see what they remember. So we had one about gardens yesterday. Today, I'm going to read, because I love turkey. Everyone knows I love turkey.
We do.
Okay, so in the 17th century, a Turk named Hazarfen Ahmad Celebi used an eagle feathered glider to fly across the Bosphorus. It's basically a strait that flows through from Istanbul to Turkey. So I want children to look into that and try and remember that fact. There's also, in 1971, a Turkish postage stamp was created to honor Hazarfen Ahmad Celebi's famous flight. So I want children to look into that as well. It's amazing how much history there is. There is actually going to be, in the next coming weeks, the mid-morning show, I believe, is going to be the history of the Ottoman Empire.
Wow.
So
Oh, yes.
please look out for that. That's going to be an amazing show.
I think the kids will be at school, unfortunately.
yes,
Perhaps they
but
can
we're
watch
gonna-
it back on.
Yeah, they can watch it back, but we're going to,
On
inshallah,
Facebook.
try and do it in later slots as well. But it's going to be amazing. I can't wait. We've got some great shows coming up in the next couple of weeks, inshallah.
This book
Ramadan.
that you've just read from.
Oh, yes. Do you want to show it again, just in case
Please,
for our
I'd love
listeners who
New
haven't
listeners
seen the
that are
book?
joining us
Yes.
maybe, yes.
1,001 inventions. And it's so important for us to know about these 1,001 inventions because they're from the Muslims and we have created, our Muslim brothers and sisters, our forefathers created incredible things over the
MashaAllah.
years. And, other people get the credit for it, but actually the Muslims are not taking the credit. And
Subhanallah.
it's so important that we know that not everything was created in the West and not everything was created. So much history, so many interesting things have developed in the Muslim world.
Indeed.
And the Muslim world 400 years ago was so alive in education and design and mathematics and philosophy. Help me out here.
Everything. The
Poetry,
sciences,
all the
sciences, poetry. Subhanallah.
I think I
there
read in
is-
one of those books that even the pure water,
Yes.
it was how it came about. It was from the Islamic history as well.
Subhanallah.
So this book is National Geographic Kids version.
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't realise that. So that's
Subhanallah.
amazing.
Yes.
1,001 inventions, all about Muslim civilization and inventions.
MashaAllah.
Absolutely.
It's amazing.
We just had brother named Briscoe join us. Assalamu alaikum.
Shout out to you, Briscoe. I've been wondering where you've been. Jazakallah khair for joining
If
us.
you've got the children listening.
Back to
Inshallah.
As-salam. I've just read another thing here. Anyone who recites this ism continuously, Allah will protect him from all calamities and maladies. If said 115 times, I'm blown on a sick person, inshallah, Allah will restore his health.
Subhanallah.
So,
Subhanallah.
as-salam.
As-salam.
Subhanallah.
So when we greet somebody, we say Assalamu alaikum, peace be upon you. And that is a dua, isn't it?
Yes.
In- Making du'as for each other when we're
Yes.
greeting each other.
Yeah.
And this is another thing that I've been taught by my teachers is, especially obviously you're greeting sisters and brothers greeting brothers, but when you're greeting, you hug, but afterwards you hold the hand and you just recite salawat as well. And that gives so much blessings and love between the two people who are greeting each other as well. That's something that I've been taught by my teachers and my shaykh as well. So I just thought something I'd like to share.
Beautiful.
Jazakallah. Thank you.
MashaAllah. Shall we move on to a third name?
Yes, inshallah.
Yes, so this one is Al-Mu'min.
Sorry, I'm just thinking.
We're going to go to break
Oh.
soon, so maybe
Yeah,
not.
that's fine. Okay.
You know what? Why don't we ask the callers, children, if you want to call us in today and read maybe the third or the fourth kalima for us.
Yes,
That'd
that
be
would be
really
nice,
nice,
inshallah.
So if anybody knows, whoever's listening, if you know the third or the fourth kalima, why don't you call in and recite that for us today?
That would
And then inshallah we can learn the meaning of it together as well if you don't know it already.
Yeah.
So give us a call in and recite the third kalima or the fourth kalima for us today.
Inshallah.
Inshallah, yeah.
So before we go to the break, we're on the Children's Hour. We're going through the 99 names. So please stay tuned in. We're on 0116 212 9324. Text number is 07450 925084. Myself, Sister Salma, and Amreen, in case I forget to say my name, and Sister Fatima are with you today on the blessed day of 1st of Jummah for this Ramadan. Assalamu
We'll be back
alaikum.
after the break.
Assalamu alaikum.
Oh yeah, he's put.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome back to Ramadan Radio on www.ramadan.fm. We're in the studio here at 207 Evington Road. The telephone number is 0116 212 9324. If you'd like to text us, we're on 07 450 925 084. We're also on Facebook, so please do join us and be in contact. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. Alhamdulillah. So we're on the children's hour discussing the 99 names. So should we do two more names? I think?
Yes, we have 2 more names and a story.
Inshallah.
And a story.
So it's lightning
Oh my
outside.
God.
Do you know the weather is incredible?
Subhanallah. Sorry, I had to say that.
And
It's
I
just-
just saw it, I thought I'm not going to say it out loud.
What was that you were saying about the sunshine earlier,
Yeah,
Sister
that'll be for the
Fatima?
next show, inshallah.
But it might be a nice one to just quote here.
It's actually, no, it's a story that I want to read, and it's the sun is even there in the night.
Yes.
Even in the night, the sun is there. That was the quote. It's a
Subhanallah.
Persian quote, isn't it? Even in the night, the sun is
Yeah.
there.
The Persian quote is, behind the darkest clouds, the sun is always shining.
Subhanallah.
Yeah.
How
So-
beautiful is that?
So let the sun be shining in your heart, even though it's raining and pouring and thunder and lightning.
May lots of dua if you're out in the rain. It's the best time to make dua.
Lots of barakah in
And
the rain.
remember us in your duas.
Actually, let's see if any of our young or any listeners know the dua for thundering and lightning.
That would be lovely.
That would be good, yeah.
Inshallah. Please ring in if you know the dua for thunder and lightning.
Inshallah.
Right, the next name of the 99 names of Allah we're going to look at is Al-Mu'min. Al-Mu'min is the inspirer of faith. Allah never abandons us and is completely faithful to us at all times. It is Al-Mu'min who gives the gift of faith to us. The faith makes us loyal and faithful to God and to the people in our lives. So Al-Mu'min comes from the word, from the root word of Muslim as well. Signs of Al-Mu'min. The swan is not only graceful, it is one of the few animals that mates for life. First, a couple build a nest together to see if they are right for each other. If this is a success, they are faithful to each other for the rest of their lives. When we human beings are faithful, gracefulness flows in our lives too. We can see this in the beautiful relationship between a loving couple who are faithful to each other. The greatest signs of Al-Mu'min, however, is the person who has completed faith in Allah. Such faith is not blind, it is based on seeing clearly from the heart and on keeping a promise we made to be faithful to God on the day of our last before we were born.
Subhanallah.
So, yeah, Khadija radiallahu an says, by God, He shall never shame you. You maintain the bonds of relationship. You are truthful of speech. You bear the burden of the weak. You help the deprived. You comfort the guest. And you support the bearers of the truth.
Subhanallah. It's beautiful.
One of these, yeah.
Khadija was the first person to have faith in the messenger of Muhammad,
Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam.
who was his wife, Khadija. When Muhammad received the first revelation, he thought he was going mad, and so Khadija radiallahu an wrapped him in her blanket and comforted him. She reassured him with wise words. It was her faith in him and in Allah that gave him the strength and confidence to spread the message of God. Khadija was Muhammad ﷺ's only wife while she was alive. She was some years older than him and such a successful businesswoman. She approached him with an offer of marriage, and after they were married, she supported him with everything she had. She was known as the Pure One.
Subhanallah.
And she is in fact one of the 4 women who reached perfection. There are many men who have reached perfection according to Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, but she is one of the 4. So the next name that I'm going to go on to is Al-Muhaymin. Al-Muhaymin. This name means the guardian. A guardian is someone who protects and guards us from danger. So it's a name that we can recite to protect ourselves when we're scared. Al-Muhaymin is the one we should call on when we need protection. Allah is always watching over us because He loves us so much. And it's so important for us to always remember how much Allah loves us. The signs of Al-Muhaymin: there are people in our lives who are protectors and guardians, making sure we do not come to any harm. Often they are our family, our parents, our grandparents, uncles and aunties, big brothers and sisters. Their love and protection is a sign of the guardian's great love and protection. We too are guardians of those younger or less able than we are. However, perhaps the clearest reminder of Al-Muhaymin are those people who guard others who are not their family, nor even some of their race, the same race or the same religion. For example, there have been brave Muslims who have protected Christians and their places of worship, and brave Christians who have done the same for Muslims. We saw that quite a lot recently in the tragedies in New Zealand, where we got a lot of support, Muslims got a lot of support from Christians. And then again in Sri Lanka, when the Muslims especially gave a lot of comfort and support to the Christians.
MashaAllah.
Now, Asiya, who was the wife of the Pharaoh, may Allah bless her, she was one of the 4 most important, most perfect women. She says, "O my sustainer, build for me in nearness to you a mansion in the garden, and save me from Pharaoh and his actions, and save me from those who do wrong." I already wrote that out today in preparation for something else.
Subhanallah,
Yes,
mashallah.
mashallah.
MashaAllah.
Okay, so the guardians and the mu'min, the ones of faith. That's what
MashaAllah.
we've covered so far. So these are 2 beautiful names of Allah.
So come on, where's our children today? We've only got 17 minutes left for the show to end.
It's very quiet.
I
Maybe
want to
they're
hear
out
from you.
splashing in the puddles.
Yeah,
That's okay if they're doing that.
I wonder where Sarah is. She took the challenge. She said she was going to do at least 40 names today.
Let's
Even
try.
if you don't know the
She's-
40 names, just call us.
As
and
many
we'll
as,
say,
as
miss
many as
you.
you can do, my darling. We haven't heard from you today.
I just want to say to all the other children, just because Sarah's doing so many, don't get scared. You know, whatever you can do,
Yes.
Allah will bless you for that.
Of course.
Even if you can do 1 a day or 2 a day, you know, just do your best,
That's
inshallah.
what it's about,
And there's so
inshallah.
much blessing in that for you.
There is.
And even if you don't know any Allah's names, it's okay. Call us, just talk to us, say salams to us, give salams, and recite anything you would like to recite.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
Inshallah.
we had one young man, one little boy yesterday reciting Kul Hu Allahu
Yes.
Kul Hu Allahu Ahad. And, you know, just remembering that reciting that 3 times is like reciting the whole of the Quran. It's the same value.
Just a reminder, the number to call in. So if you are wanting to call in, it's 0116 212 9324. That's 212 9324.
Oh, we've got a call, I think.
Yes. Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum.
Waalaikumsalam.
Wa alaikum assalam. And who are we speaking to today?
Aisha.
Aisha, assalamu alaikum. And how old are you, Aisha?
Four.
You're 4 years old.
Nearly 5.
Nearly 5. Wow, you're going to be a big girl soon. How are you doing today?
Fine.
Can you hear the rain and the thunder? Can you see the rain and hear the thunder?
Yeah.
Did you see that big lightning that just happened?
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow, isn't it amazing? You think it's amazing when it rains and when it thunders and lightens?
Yeah.
Yeah. Right, so Aisha, what would you like to pray?
What would you like to pray? Surah Fatiha.
Surah Fatiha. Okay, Bismillah, you can pray. Start praying when you're ready to pray.
Alhamdulillah. Inni as'aluka. Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. Rabbil Alameen. Rabbil Alameen. Nurika ya. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Ar-Rahman Fahim. Go on then. Don't be shy. Here, you can see American see you. Sorry, she's getting a bit
No, don't worry. That's absolutely fine, Aisha. You're doing so well, Aisha. So proud of you.
Aisha. That's why Sarah's just told her to come speak on it. That's why she.
Oh, so it's Sarah's little sister, Aisha. Oh, wow, Aisha.
Aisha's here now, so Aisha's going to read first. She's a bit more confident now. Should we start, Aisha? Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Go on then.
It's okay, Aisha. Don't be shy.
Yeah. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Yeah. Ar-Rahmanir-Rahim. Maliki Yawmiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Ihdinas siratal mustaqim.
صراط
الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين.
آمين.
Wow. Aisha, mashallah, that was beautiful.
Mashallah.
Thank you so much. That was beautiful.
And she said Maliki Yawmiddin.
I was going to say. Right.
Mashallah, mashallah. She won the quiz as well.
I think she was listening to herself while she was praying, so she got a bit confused, like, what's that noise?
Yes, it's good to turn the radio off in the background. It's good to turn it off so that we can get clear reception.
A bit nosy.
Jazakallah khair.
Aisha, well, then, would you like to give salam to anybody? Or would you like to say anything to anybody?
To anybody? To Sarah and Rumaisa? Yes, I'd like to give salam to Rumaisa and Sarah. She's a bit shy now.
No, stage fright. That's fine. That's fine. Jazakallah for calling in.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum assalam.
Oh, mashallah. We're all friends together. Alhamdulillah. That's
was
what it's
lovely.
about. That's beautiful. Mr. Producer, can we have the timer on, please? Because we don't know. Jazakallah khair. Just say, on Facebook, Briscoe just says salams to all. Wa alaikum salam, Briscoe.
Alaikum
Jazakallah
salam.
khair. Alhamdulillah.
Please continue in your great work.
Yes.
Inshallah.
We've just had Mr. Sorry, Amir Bam just join us. Assalamu alaikum. Jazakallah for joining us on Facebook Live.
Yeah. Alhamdulillah.
And we'll just repeat the number one more time. It's 212-9324, and you're listening to Ramadan special on EAVA 102.5 FM on the Children's Hour with myself, Fatima, Sister Amreen, and Sister Salma.
Alhamdulillah.
Okay, right now we're going to move on to a story. Okay, this one is called Drawing a Blank, and it's one of the Jalaluddin, no, not Jalaluddin Rumi, it's Mullah Nasruddin Hoja. Okay, right, so Drawing a Blank. One day, when Mullah Nasruddin was still a boy at school, his teacher told the class to get out their pencils and draw a picture. All the children settled down to draw. Young Nasruddin was feeling rather tired, and he fell asleep. Next thing he knew, the angry teacher was calling him up to the front. Nasruddin went, and the teacher asked to see his picture. All Nasruddin had was a blank piece of paper. "Where's the picture?" asked the teacher. "You didn't draw anything." Oh, I did," said Nasruddin. "I drew a donkey eating grass." Well, where's the grass?" asked the teacher. "The donkey ate it all," said Nasruddin. "And where's the donkey?" asked the teacher. "Well, there was no more grass left," said Nasruddin, "so the donkey left." Oh my goodness. I used to read that 20 years ago. It's still funny.
Every time I read it.
Mashallah.
Oh, lovely.
Alhamdulillah.
Okay, so I'm going to move on to one more of the names of Allah. And then did we have a little poem? Or
We're going to be
perhaps
doing
another
another
little
story.
We're doing another
story.
story, inshallah.
We'll do another story.
And we need to just do some
Unless-
reminders of the competition as well.
Yes,
So.
unless we get some more callers, which
Just
would be
has-
really lovely.
We've just had Ibrahim Yusuf join us on Facebook Live. Assalamu alaikum. Jazakallah for joining us.
Assalamu alaikum.
And children, we've only got 9 minutes left, so if you want to call,
Yeah, time's
Now's
getting
the
short.
time.
Yes. Okay, so this name is of Allah is Al-Aziz. Al-Aziz, this name means the mighty. The Almighty God has unimaginable strength and is full of amazing power. Allah's strength is the kind that fills us with sweet joy. It lifts us on the wings of victory and makes us realize how special life is.
Okay, can we just stop there for a second? We've got a call coming in.
We
Sister
have?
Salma, yes.
Okay.
Assalamu alaikum.
Salam.
Wa alaikum salam. And who is this?
Adam Yusuf.
Assalamu alaikum, Adam Yusuf. How are you doing today?
Good.
Okay, so have you had a good day at school?
G.
Done anything exciting?
G.
What did you do at school that was exciting today?
A story.
A story. Wow. Are you glad it's Friday?
G.
Alhamdulillah. So, what would you like to recite for us today, Adam?
G.
Sorry?
Say a story.
Oh, you'd like to recite a story for us?
Oh.
That's great. Okay, you can start when you're ready then, Adam.
One day I went to the Masjid Umar with my dad for namaz, and in the bayan I heard the Mulisa saying that you're not allowed to say after your parents.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Subhanallah.
So, what does he mean by that?
Respect our parents.
Respect our parents. Excellent.
MashaAllah.
And do you respect mommy and daddy?
G.
Alhamdulillah. And that's really good that you've said that, because I'm sure there's so many young children like you listening right now, and they just probably need a little reminder, and you just reminded them. So well done, and thank you for being so brave and telling us a nice little story like that.
Yes, it's lovely to share something like that, isn't
Especially
it?
when there's a lesson in the story. That's even more beneficial to all of us, isn't it?
Yeah, imagine how many children you've helped today.
Jazakallah.
Jazakallah for calling, Adam. Have a good weekend, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
Oh, mashallah. Bless
One of
him.
the callers, Adam Yusuf. I
That's-
think he's calling
That's
cousin
his-
every day.
Yeah, he's another one who's bless him.
It was a lovely thing to share, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Very nice, yeah.
But that's what it's about. It's we always say, you know, it's we can recite, of course, but there's everything that has a story behind it. There's always a moral. And I think as adults we forget through storytelling we can learn so much.
Definitely.
And when you hear a child telling you a story, but it gives you a reminder. You know, we've said from the start on our shows is we learn so much more from children. The main thing is patience, you know, and how to put things across to them where they can understand.
Children need to know that they inspire us and their opinions matter to us as well.
Yes.
You inspire, you teach us. So it's all so nice when you call us in and
Yeah.
give us these little
Alhamdulillah.
reminders.
It's creating that environment where, you know, children feel comfortable where they can share their stories and they're not going to be judged, and, you know, they're learning as well. But at the same time, subhanAllah, you know, mashallah, they teach us a lot. So jazakallah khair for that,
Absolutely.
Adam. May Allah bless you and your family and your
Mashallah.
parents.
Ameen.
Ameen. Okay, shall we finish with
Right.
Al-Aziz, inshallah?
Yes, let's come back to Al-Aziz. This name means the mighty, for Almighty Allah. The signs of Al-Aziz: when the sun rises, darkness disappears. The sun is mighty and triumphant, filling the world below with golden light. Back to the sunshine again, aren't we?
We love the sun.
We love it for the warmth and joy it gives us. It feels precious, a gift to each living thing. Perhaps this can teach us something about the power of Al-Aziz, a power that feels very sweet and special. It has been said that the triumphant strength of Al-Aziz is like a baby eagle. It may seem odd to think of something as tiny as an eaglet, but it helps us to imagine how beautiful, precious, and rare Al-Aziz feels. There is great love in God's strength. It makes us feel good about life and also about ourselves. So that would give us confidence and make us feel stronger if we recite the name of Al-Aziz.
Subhanallah.
So, and mighty Allah, there is nothing greater than Allah. It says that the sun is mighty, but there is nothing, but Allah is Al-Aziz, the Almighty.
The Almighty.
So we have the great, the greater, the greater and the greatest. So the greatest is always one of Allah's names, that the superlative. David says, I think that's Dawood alayhi salam, you are my strength and my shield. In you my heart feels safe. I feel supported. Therefore my heart is gleeful and my song is of gratitude. I had a beautiful message from a sister today, and she was saying, I feel so happy, I don't know what to do with myself. And she's a new Muslim, and I just wanted to cry. I just thought, that's so pure and so beautiful. I wish I was
send us some energy.
Yes. And I said, you know, when you in Ramadan, especially when you're thanking Allah, when you're giving praise to Allah for what you have, for all for everything that you have, for just for being a Muslim, when you realize what it really means to be a Muslim, just saying Alhamdulillah for that, or even just getting down and doing Salat al-Shukr, where you do 2 rak'ah and you're just thanking Allah for everything. And it means so much to Allah that we are grateful servants, because most of the time, all of us forget to be grateful. So Allah guide us and help us to remember.
Ameen.
To be grateful, especially our children, grateful for everything you see that happens throughout your day.
Yes.
From the minute you wake up till the moment we sleep.
Whether it's a glass of water or whatever it is.
You just turn the tap and you get water from it.
Exactly.
And the water pours and you can drink it. And the minute you wake up and mommy's got breakfast ready for you, or she gets you ready for school, and when they pick you up and then there's dinner ready for you. So all those little things that we think it's just normal. Just try and just sit down for a minute today before you have your dinner. Just say thank you to the person who's cooked that for you and got that ready for you.
And go and give them a hug and a kiss to let them know that you care about them and that they're important to you as
because
well.
the person who's cooked that for you could have gone through so much today. They could be tired, they could be exhausted, they could have not been in the mood to do that for you today, but yet they've pushed themselves and they've done that for you because they dearly, dearly love you. So you must appreciate it. And it's not just that. There's so many little things that you do in a day, being able to play with your friends in this playground at school, having a coat when you go outside and it's cold.
Yes.
Having an umbrella in the rain. And wellies that you can jump around in the puddles and all those beautiful things that we enjoy in our daily lives. Just sit back and think about it. How many things today you've been blessed with. And just say thank you to Allah and thank you to the people that are providing everything for you as well.
Indeed.
So today we're all about water and sunshine, aren't we?
It is, isn't it?
MashaAllah.
All our topics seem to come back to water and sunshine.
Allah is pouring His blessings on us today with this rain.
SubhanAllah, with this first Jummah of Ramadan, and what a beautiful day, and how blessed we are to be in each other's company. May Allah keep it that way.
Ameen.
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 Right, so we've got about a minute to go.
I think we should wrap up about the competition.
Wrap up,
yes.
Okay.
Please
So we didn't have anybody reciting the names today. That's okay. But inshallah, what we need to do is, so by next Friday, which is the 17th, is we're going to have a competition. So you can either drop your poems in, and it's about what you're learning in Ramadan. So the things that are important to you in Ramadan, especially in the first, because it's going to be the first 10 days, okay? So I want to hear from you what's important to you, and you can either make it into a nursery rhyme, a song, however you want to do it, whatever it is, whatever works for you. So you can come into the studio, or you can actually come and recite it, or you can come and drop it in as well, and you can physically write it, and then we'll read them out on air as well, inshallah. Okay, so we'll have an extra bit of a show next Friday, inshallah. And then we want to, the main final one is the flash mob on the last Thursday or the last Friday before Eid, inshallah. And we're trying to see how many children can get into the studio. Bear in mind, all your parents will need to sign the disclaimer. But how many children can get into the studio? And also live on air, we will do the 99 names of Allah. And we will see how many children can recite as many as you can. So even if you don't know all of them, it's okay. Try and learn as many as you can. And then we can take it from there, inshallah. Okay, so we're about to wrap up. So, Assalamu alaikum, Jazakallah khair for joining us.
See you on Monday.
Assalamu alaikum. Sorry, I rambled.
Alhamdulillah.